me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, good. So let's start. We have a number of questions to correct. So I'll briefly go through these questions. Uh, they are very simple questions, but the the methods that you're going to use is very important. I will urge you to can you turn off your mic, Dishika? Yes, I will urge you. It would be a good idea if you, as I said last time, if you could, at least for your answers, if you can scan them through your mobile phone, keep it on your computer, and then you share the screen so that I can see what is the mistake or what is the problem that you're having. Okay, so it would be a good idea if you could do that. If it's going to be one way, which was the case last year. A lot of students, I just came online and just the first semester was face to face for the tutorial, but the second semester, because of the pandemic, we had to uh, do it online. And it was one way. I mean, I was the only one doing. I was asking students if they had problem. If they had, I was just correcting everything, and it was one way. Trust me, you will not learn anything from that if you do so. So the best thing you could do if something is going wrong, you simply have to share your screen, uh, download everything on your computer, share your screen. If you've done it in your copybook, take a picture from your phone, put it on your computer, and share your screen. And it will be easy for me to see your workings, and I'll be helping out you out to solve the problem. Okay, so let's go one by one through these questions. And as I said, if you have any question, please let me know. I'm sharing my screen. Okay, so I had a tutorial with some of this a session earlier this morning. So I was working some of the questions, but I didn't complete all the questions. So um, question number one, the answer is 12. Okay. It's not a difficult question, but as I said, if this was meant to be a 2 to 3 marks question, you get marks for each and every, for your workings. Okay. So you need to show your working. For example, what we aim to calculate here is this one, right? So this one. So if you show your working, you're going to have your full mark. If you don't show any working and just give you the answer, it's not going to be a good thing. Okay. So it's going to be, this is the answer. So 20 plus 28 minus 36 is equal to 12. Indicate your answer by an arrow. It's always a good practice, whether it's in the exam or the test. Please indicate by using an arrow. Okay. So question number two. The answer is 9. If you have any difficulty, please let me know. Just turn on your mic or try to find ways to let me know that you're having difficulties, and I'll help you out. So for question number two, so far so good. Question number one. So answer 12 for question number one. Question number two, the answer is 9. Okay. So uh, if that were to be a 3 to 4 marks question, right, in the exam, maybe it's going to be a 3 marks. Just by writing this will earn you 1 to 2 marks, depending on the overall marking, 1 to 2 marks, right? So failing to do that, you have already lost quite a number of marks. So uh, it's very important that you define what is A and what is B, or what is X or what is Y. Let A be the set of people who like cold drinks. Let B be the set of people who like hot drinks, right? So what is given, very important. A union B, so the number of elements for A union B, the number of elements for A, and the number of elements for B. What we want to find is, the question is asking for how many like both, right? So how many like both? So that would be this plus this minus this. So the answer is 9. Now, this is not the full-fledged answer. You need to complete the answer that saying that number of people number of people uh, who likes both hot and cold drinks equal to 9. This is here, by doing so, you're showing that you're answering the question. Okay, so very important. So that should be the final answer. Okay, so question number 3. Let me have your answers, please. Please put it in the chat. Question number 3, answer. So first part would be how many can speak English. Second, so you put part number 1, the answer. Part number 2, French only. Part number 3, English and French. Please go ahead. I want to see the answer from all of you. Just put it as different parts, please. English only is 57, 28, and 15. That's okay. Yeah. Okay, that's very good. Right. Since all of you have got anyone having issues, so the answers would be English only would be 57, French only would be 28, and both would be 15. So let me show you the answer. Uh, so don't forget to describe those sets that you're going to have. So let A be the set of people speaking English. Let B be the set of people speaking French. What is given? So you need to specify that. So 72, 43, and 100. You need to specify those. So we're doing it in reverse order because it's much easier to sort it out. So if we want to figure out how many people speak both French and English, right? It's a simple calculation. 72 plus 43 minus 100 is equal to 15. Don't forget that this is not the final answer. You need to specify it like this one. So this is the most important element. So you have to specify it like this one. Failing to do so would could probably uh, lead to loss of marks. So you don't want to have this situation. So try to make sure that you're answering the question correctly. Uh, so number of people who number of a person who speak English only would be and the number of elements you have for A minus B, that would be total number of A minus total number of A intersection B. So 72 minus 15 is 47. And for people, I've put explain here. Simply, you just need to give the justificate the final conclusion. Maybe explain is a little bit confusing. Let's put conclusion, right? Conclusion, right? Very important. Same for the last one. So it's 28. Write the conclusion. Okay. Right. Is that okay? Any questions so far? Is that okay? Yes, please. Please reply back. I need your feedback uh, for this one. Yes. Okay. So one student replied, yes, a number of students is replying now. The next question is an interesting one, and I'd like to hear what is, please turn on your mic and give me your answer. As I said, there is no answer which is wrong. Uh, so at least you tried. But from my past experience, Those of you who are turning on your mic or sharing your screen are the one who is benefiting a lot. Uh, if the most interesting one would be to see those of you who are doing mistakes, because then I will be able to help you out to overcome it. And the best part would be when you ask for help, and for example, something is wrong in your calculation, and you showed me that it is wrong. I'm sure that when I'm helping you out, you've showed it to me and I've explained it to you. I'm sure that in the exam or in the test, you will not repeat the same mistake. So you don't even have to learn by heart or practice too much. Since that you've shared it, you've discussed about it, we've sorted out, you will never make the same mistake again. Okay. So let's figure out for the first one. Show that A intersection B is a subset of A. Come on, let's see what is your solution for this one. Come on, anyone? You can share your screen or you can turn on your microphone. Please go ahead. I'm not going to pick and choose for the your adults, so please share your screen. Any volunteer?
Sir,
Yes.
first we say that A intersection B is an element of A intersection B is an element. Uh, can we use a opposite type of can you use examples to prove this identity?
You can use Venn diagrams if you wish. That's a very good question. This is why I thank you for turning on your mic and ask questions. Yes, you can use Venn diagram to show that. That could be a good idea. Yeah. There are other ways of doing that. So you can use prove that something is an element of the set, and that could be another alternative as well. Thank you, Ashley, for intervening. That's a good, very good question, and I hope I've been able to help you out. Yes, Duvesh?
Yes, sir. So
Yes.
let x be an element of
Mm-hmm.
A and B,
Mm-hmm.
then x will be an element of A and x will be an element of B also.
Yes.
Therefore, A and B will be a subset of A.
Uh, Almost there. Duvesh, keep your mic on. I'll explain something. Do we have any foreigner in today's session right now? Do we have any foreigner in the group?
No.
OK. Tout le monde comprend créole. Moi, vous expliquer en créole pour un peu plus facile pour de comprendre. Quand nous disons A is an element of, sorry, X is an element of A intersection B, les sous-entendus qui X les trouve dans A et que les dans B. OK? Nous pas nécessaire aller à dire qui, therefore, X is an element of A and therefore X is also an element of B. Do you see, Duvesh, what I'm saying? If
Yes, sir.
X is an element of A intersection B, X is also an element of A. So, therefore, A intersection B is a subset of A. Mais il y a un mot qui nous a servi là-dedans, qui prouve cette affaire, qui évite sa situation, qui tenait vers X is an element of A, therefore X is an element of A, and therefore X is an element of B as well. Okay? Alors, let me just explain that. Yeah, I've already written it here. Est-ce que je vais trouver question 1A? If X is in A, or you can write if X is an element of A intersection B, then perforce. This is the word, my friend. I forgot your name. What is your name? Duvesh. This is
Yes,
the
sir.
word I'm looking for. Perforce, it is in A. So then perforce, you got it. Then perforce, X is an element of A. Is that okay? Est-ce qu'ils ont compris? Alors, pas oublier, c'est une question comme ça, il donne n points, mais si je mets un petit highlight, je te connais qui l'eau, il sorti, je te mets je tire, je peux gagner n points. Even though, parfois, il y a un petit erreur, un petit issues par-ci, par-là, you know that you ensure yourself that it is right. So this is the law of intersection. Is that okay? C'est bon? Tout le monde y comprend?
Oui, monsieur.
Uh, just allow me to paste it somewhere else. Just give me a second, please. Just cleaning this whole part. Right, let me just paste this one here, put it down there, and we'll address this one later on. Allez, let's go back to this one. Okay, so the next part, the next one, please participate. You're doing a great job là. Hein? Please participate, it's so important. Alors, the second one, c'est l'inverse. A is a subset of A union B. Anyone?
Can I share my screen, sir?
Pardon?
Can I share my screen?
Yes, please go ahead, my friend. Let me stop sharing. Yes, Bavish, please go ahead.
Monsieur, au cas, checker si vous pouvez bien représenter le papier là.
Suppose that X is an element of A. To show that X is an element of B, let X be an element of A union B. C'est parti B là, hein? X is an element of A or X is an element of B, let X be an element. Therefore, X is an element of A. Et l'intérêt là-dedans, il n'est pas un erreur, mais il est mal interprété par Vish. Have a look at this. You want to show that A is a subset of A union B. So you want to show that A is X is an element of A. So if X is an element of A, X will also be an element of A union B. It's as simple as that. You're overcomplicating this whole thing. Do you understand, Bavish?
Oui.
Il aussi simple que ça. Next, servi le mot per force. Alors, laisse-moi écrire, Ali. That's a very good thing that you put it there. Let me check the next one as well. What you said. Suppose X is an element of A minus B. X is an element of A minus. Just give me a second, please. Just give me a second. Phone ringing. Okay. Same for C as well. Even for D, when I look for at D, you're making it over complex. C'est une question de N points ça, dans l'examen. Quand donner vite, vite répondre ça. OK? Les straightforward, ça. Parfois, il est compliqué. Il ne faut pas dire, quand vous avez dernier là, partie E, il est un petit peu plus compliqué. OK. Can you stop sharing, Bavish? I'll share my screen. OK. Hope you can see my screen. Right. So B says if X is an element of A, then per force, là, nous dit per force, c'est un petit peu de par défaut, X is an element of A union B. Les sous-entendus, c'est ça qu'on appelle the law of union. C'est bon? Partie C, see how we put it. If X is an element of, nous peut A moins B, if X is an element of A minus B, then per force, X is an element of A. As simple as that. Okay? Alors, ça c'est the law. Anybody can tell me what is the law of? Anyone? Turn on your mic, please. What is this law? Anyone, please? The law of difference. Okay? Alors, partie D, living dire, Bavish has already shared his screen. Anyone who wants to share, I've already seen the work of Bavish. Anyone else? I'd like to see how you've done part D. Part D is very interesting. Ici, ne pas casser per force, hein, il n'est pas sous-entendu. Là. Anyone? Please go ahead. No, nous n'avons aucun volontaire. It would have been a good idea if you could share. Okay, let me just proceed then. Ici, nous dire, quand nous pouvons faire A intersection B minus A, et que nous pouvons un null set, okay? It's not going to happen. So, si nous dire, if X is an element of A, then X, pour nous carrer un null, is not an element of B minus A. Alors, si nous faisons une affaire qui, si X trouve dans, on appelle left-hand side, intersection right-hand side, X il trouve là-dedans et il pas trouve là-dedans, right? Nous avons une situation que dit pour null, right? Therefore, let's clean all that. Alors, X is therefore, there can be no elements in A intersection B minus A. So, me en bas ici, A intersection B minus A is equal to null. C'est bon? Allez, partie E. Anyone who wants to share his or her screen so that I can have a look? Pour partie E, super intéressant. Il y a plusieurs types de réponses. Par les décisions réponse qui est correct. So it will be a good chance for me to be able to validate your answer.
Sir,
Yes,
can you check my answer for D?
please, yes, please share.
Can you see it?
No. Yeah, I can see it now. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, sir. Thanks.
C'est bon. Alors, ce qui devait faire, il servait both event diagram et il servait ma notation pour expliquer. That's very good. Duvesh, since you've shared your screen, can I see part E as well?
Yes, sir. I had to take a snap first.
Okay, doesn't matter. I'll move on. Let me just move on in the meantime, okay? Parce qu'il n'est pas dans trop beaucoup les
Yes,
temps.
sir.
Okay? Allez. Nous get part E. Anyone can give an explanation to part E? Come on, turn on your mic.
Sure, on va aller là, mon PC, là, attendre une 30 secondes.
Moi, je comprends.
On va le photo là, mon PC, là.
Nous pousse toujours. Once you're ready, we'll come back to you afterwards. Okay?
Okay.
Right? Allez.
Est-ce que vous pouvez montrer les parties E là entre-temps?
Yes, please go ahead. Please make sure next week you've already uploaded your photos, your homework on your computer so that it's much easier for you to just give me a second, stop sharing. So that it's much easier to we don't lose time next week, okay? Equal to something. Yeah, X is an element of A union B minus A. Therefore, X is an element of A. No, I'm not so sure that X is an element of B minus A. From X being an element of B minus A, X is an element of B, and X is not an element of A. Non, il y a un problème là dans ma vie. Ça, X is an element of B minus A. Là, il n'est pas bon.
OK.
Ce qui est arrivé là-dedans, sur l'explication bien simple, ça. So I'm just giving the answer. If X is an element of A, if you follow the law of intersection, right? If X is an element of A, if you follow the law of intersection, X will always be, not intersection, but union. If you follow the law of union, X will always be an element of A union B.
Oh,
Do
d'accord.
you understand my point?
Oui.
The one that you put X is an element of B minus A is not true. Can you see that?
Oui.
Alors, ça bout de là, pas bon là. S'il y a un element of A, il peut tout le temps trouve, s'il y trouve de A, you can, I love, quand il est trop compliqué de faire un Venn diagramme, hein, sur, ça c'est A, ça c'est B, right? X is an element of A, alors s'il trouve de A, mais il pas, il B minus A sur, nous avons B minus A, ça veut dire nous il trouve dans A ici, et B minus A somewhere around here. Alors, therefore, A union B, il vous trouve X will be an element of A union B, il vous trouve dans sa union, non? So, nous avons dit d'une façon comme ça. If X is an element of A, right, using the law, on va share l'écran là, non? Just give me a second. Using the law of union, therefore, X is also an element of A union B. Right? As simple as that. Du moment qu'il y trouve dans A, whatever you're going to have with it, it will always be, X will always be an element of A union B. C'est bon? Il est aussi simple que ça. C'est ma question N points ça, hein, dans l'examen. Mais il dépend comment tu écris. Souvent, les fois, c'est les gains zéro là-dedans. Malgré qu'ils te connaissent, il est aussi il est bien simple pour prouver. Mais si in draw un Venn diagram, il pas explique Venn diagram là correctement, il n'est qu'il met un shading. Sometimes shading can be confusing. Then you're in big trouble. So you need, if you're drawing Venn diagram, you need to make sure that it is clear.
Monsieur le cas chez moi.
Just give me a second. I'll stop sharing. Yes, please go ahead. Yes, please go ahead. Who was speaking?
Oui.
Ashwin?
Oui. Vous pouvez trouver.
Yeah, it's coming.
Vous me faites de ça façon est-ce qu'il y a un droit?
Yes, you have the right to do that. Yep, that's correct. You can use elements. Ça, X is an element là. Nous peut simplifier de parce qu'il nous spécialise un, deux, trois éléments là même. Alors, c'est exactly the same thing. You can use the same method. That's correct. Well done.
Merci.
Right. Stop sharing, please. Je trouvais que quand je peux montrer mon devoir, dit bon, dit pas bon, both ways it's fine. Nous pas là pour la critique. Ok, je travaille pas bon, ça élève là pas bon. Moi, from my experience, the best students are always making mistakes during the tutorial, right? Purposely faire mistake, but those who are showing me their mistake are those who are going to get better over time. Okay, so they are keen to show me. Some students are scared to show me their work. Attention, n'est pas bon. Attention, what I'm going to say. I'm not going to criticize. If there is something wrong, I'll show you, okay, this part is wrong. And if you didn't understand why it is wrong, my role is to explain to you why it is wrong. So once I explain it to you, I know in the future you will never make that mistake. Okay, so you could, the first few chapters are very, very easy. So you're not going to have so much issues. But why am I stressing so much in the way you're writing down things or explaining your logic, whether it's it's you're using sets, Venn diagrams, elements of sets, is because in the future you will have to write these statements, these set builder notations. You'll have to use it throughout the semester. So if throughout the for the entire module, if you fail to do that, right? Là, dès le commencement, je ne pas comprendre ou soit. Il y en a beaucoup d'élèves là, nous quand dire presque 2 tiers des élèves, je ne fais l'image, je ne reste tranquille de ce quoi. Après là, moi aussi, comme au bout d'un test, je ne comprends pas à, allons dire 50, 60, 70% quand d'un test, je tasse. So, my aim is pretty simple. Je ne pas là pour critiquer, mais là simplement pour guider in the process. Okay, let's move on. Just give me a second, my battery is dying. Okay, so let's proceed. My battery was dying on my laptop. So let's proceed. So next question. The next question is on cardinality. So please send me your answer for part A, B, C, and D. Come on, be quick. Question 5. CNZOD is some kind of a game, okay? You just need to, so 0012. Thank you for sharing, Bagobin. Other students, come on, be quick. 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 0, 1, 2. 0, 1, 2, 3. Come on, other students. 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. I think there is a huge tendency towards 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's give the answer. The correct answer is 0, 1, 2, 3. Those who didn't get it right, let's go through it. So for part A, the cardinality is 0. There is nothing. It's an empty, complete empty set. For part B, in the set, you have an empty element in there, so it's 1. For part C, you have an empty element plus a set containing an empty element, so that's 2, right? For part D, you have an empty element, a set containing an empty element, and a third set containing a third subset containing a third element containing a set of an empty element and a set of containing an element. So basically, you have a third element here. So you have 3 elements for this one. Est-ce qu'ils ont compris? Those who didn't get it right? Il y a 3 éléments là-dedans. Ce cardinality, c'est 3. Dernier là, ce qui je trouve un petit set avec un set qui est dans le coin d'un petit set là-dedans, il compte comme un élément, il y a un gros bracket. Is that okay? So if I'm having no response, I assume it is okay. Good. Question number 6. It's a true-false question. So question number 6, determine whether these statements are true or false. Okay, send me your answer, please. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Yeah, that would be much quicker if you write T, T, F, F, whatever for true, false. Or you can be Boolean, 1 being true. You can be binary if 1 being true, 0 being false. Okay, so we don't have all participation from all students for this one. I wonder why. Maybe you're still typing. So let me just give the answer. Many of you had, especially the last one, wrong. Some of you had the before last wrong as well. So let me just explain it, okay? So the first one, uh, null being an element of an empty set, that's true. Null being an element of an empty set, uh, and of the set containing an empty set and a null, so that's true as well. The third part is an interesting one. The null set is an element of a null set. This is not true because the set contains a null. It does not contain a null set. Those who got it true for this one, it's supposed to be false. I hope you've understood the concept. The set does not contain the left-hand side, the set on the left-hand side, so the element that we're talking about, the element is a null set. In the main set, you don't have a null set in that set, okay? However, for part D, it is true. So this forms part of the set, okay? For part C, we're talking about, you need to be careful about part C. We are talking about proper subset, okay? It's not a subset. We're talking about, for part E, we're talking about uh, proper subset. F is proper subset and G is proper subset. You have to be very careful about that, okay? So for E, uh, it is a proper subset, so it has some element in there. That's true. For F, it is true as well, right? Because it exists in the set. So you have a set of that element, okay? It is a proper subset. If it were to be a subset, it would have been false. For the last one, it is a little bit tricky in this one. It is not a proper subset. There are what is happening here. Let me just put this on the screen here. It's saying this null set. The problem with this, right? This is equal to the same thing, right? This is equal to exactly the same thing. If it's meant to equal to the same thing, so this is equal to that. If this is equal to that, then this is a subset, not a proper subset of this. So that's why it's false. Est-ce que tu me comprends? It is a subset, not a proper subset. Okay?
So
bon?
can you explain F?
This is who is speaking? Can you just leave your mic on? Yes, who is speaking?
Bavish.
Yes, Bavish. Alors, try to understand this. Ça, this left-hand side here, this set here, is same as this. Whether you have this two times, this is repeated 2 times, this is repeated 10 times, it's equal to as it's repeated as 1. Did you understand this, Bavish?
Yep.
Right? So basically this one and this one are the same thing. So this, I'll call it, let me just use a different color. So this and these two, they are equal. If they are equal, they cannot be a proper subset. Okay? If they are equal, they are subsets. Okay? So if they are subsets, it cannot be a proper subset. So this one tends to be false. Comprends, Bavish?
Oui.
Good. Let's move on. If you have any other question, please feel free to ask. Okay? Quand pas comprendre, dire pas comprendre, nous donne clarification. Question 7, I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty of question 7, but to put it into perspective, it's a very easy question. So we are doing product of A, product of A times B times C, for example. So it's going to be a long one, pas pour essayer de créer tout bouger. For example, for the first one, AX0 If you fail to put any a comma between that, is going to be a mistake. And then it goes AY1. Sorry, I missed AY0. Then it goes to AY1. And it goes on like this up to the point that it reaches CY1. Right? You can fill the gap, fill the answer for C times B times A. It will start with A0XA and it will end with 1YC. The order doesn't matter, but these are the elements it will contain. And then C product A, product B, that will be 0AX, 0AY, 0BX, 0BY, 0CX, 0CY, and it goes on like this. And it will start with 1AX and so on and so forth. When you do B times B times B, product B, that will be 3 triple X, 2XY, XYX, XYY, YXX, XYX, YYX, YYY, 3Y. C'est bon? Okay. Next question is an interesting question. Right. So let's see. Can you share your screen for those of you who've done the homework? Please feel free. Là pour l'instant, it's more or less the same person sharing your screen. Can you share your screen so that I can check it out for you and give you some feedback? Come on, be quick. Il nous reste 5 minutes là.
Can I share, sir?
Yes, please go ahead. Partie E, ça? Non, on n'est pas bon en Bavish. Duvish. That's the wrong question. Okay, Duvish, please allow me, let me just move on to let me just give the explanation parce qu'il nous paraît trop beaucoup le temps. I can have a look afterwards. What's the issue if ever you don't have the answer? Is that okay, Duvish?
Sure, again.
Pardon?
I have the answer.
I can't understand what you said.
So this is a question.
Let me just give the answer parce qu'il me reste 4 minutes.
Okay, sir.
Désolé pour entrer. Là, if you have anything, you stay back and I'll explain it to you. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Allez, question 8. Alors, il est bien simple pour vous, ça. Nous get des affaires, okay? Nous get A is a subset of C, B is a subset of D, A product B is a subset of A product D. Alors, to prove it is something very simple. Nous dire if A is an element of the small letter A is an element of A, and B is an element of B, of the set B, therefore, then and A is a subset, if A is a subset of C, then the following will happen. Alors, si A est un subset of, is an element of A, et que nous avons une situation que A y trouve dans C, then A, the element A, will be found in C, capital letter C. Okay? If B is an element of the set B, and we know that B is a subset of D, then B would be an element of D. Therefore, we can conclude that, therefore, A and B, these two elements, are elements of C product D. Right? Quand nous faisons C product D, right, nous prenons ça élément qui trouve A et B là. Right? So it's a product of that. As simple as that to prove it. Okay? Question number 9. Me mettre sur ma réponse et il y a différentes façons pour interpréter. Question number 9. So 3n for the first one, there are multiple of threes. The best way to write it down is this one. So you have two ways of writing down the answer, this way or that way, whichever suits you well, that's fine. For part B, that's the answer. Nous n'avons pas les autres moyens. Si vous êtes dans les autres réponses, you can stay back for the next session and I can check it out. For part C is a little bit tricky, right? Because you have elements. So how are you going to represent that? Are you going to say x, so such that x is equal to MNOP? You can do that, but it's not a set that makes sense. You could, this is an example, you could say x is a letter of word monopoly, in the word monopoly, other than L and Y. Okay? Other than L and Y. So the set does not have L and Y in there. Okay? The last question. So you have a set. So question 10. So you have a set. A is equal to 246, B is equal to 26, C is equal to 46, and D is equal to 468. Determine which of these sets are subsets of which of these sets. So it's very simple. So B is a subset of A. It's very easy to figure out, right? C is a subset of A, and C is also a subset of D. Trois réponses. OK? C'est bon? Tu dis Monique comprend? Tu dis Monique comprend? Is that a yes or a no? Can I have some feedback?
Yes.
Yes.
Just give me a second. I'll just take the attendance and then you can move out. For those of you who are not in this set, is not supposed to be in the next section. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Je trouvais comment ça m'a les temps manqué dans ce tutorial. Unfortunately, nous avons this temps that we can spend together. I will ask you next week. Please make sure that you've already done took a snapshot and store it on your computer before you join the tutorial session. Henceforth, for the tutorial, we'll use the same link all the time. The Google Meet link will use the same link. So next week, we'll use the same link. Make sure you're on time for the tutorial and you've uploaded everything on your computer, okay, before joining. Thank you very much, guys. I'll ask those who are just completed the tutorial, please leave the session. We'll leave the floor, we'll leave space for new students to get in. Thank you very much. For those who have just joined in, we'll